Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Seventh Rule with your stars, Aaron Eisenberg and Sirach Lofton. This is the Star Trek Convention Edition, and today we're joined by Mr. Dan Deevy of Gaaays in Space.
No, you have to say it correctly. Gaaays in Space!
That was like 9 A's, not 3. By the way, I'm Ryan T. Husk, everybody. And we're joined by Dan Deevy of Gaaays in Space.
See,
hello, Dan.
It catches on. It catches on, Ryan. It gets to the point where, I mean, granted, I can't finish a conversation anymore in under 5 minutes because I have to say it like that every time. But it's fun and it catches on. How are you guys doing?
All A's like that. All A's. Vanilla latte.
I will say honestly that when I saw the name, I did think to myself, I think that's the perfect amount of A's, because obviously if you only have 2, it just seems like a typo. And if you start to go into like 4 or 5, then people are like, what the hell's going on over here? But 3,
exactly.
I honestly thought about that. I was like, I think 3 was the perfect number.
Thank you.
From what I understand, the Gaaays in Space with 1 A and 2 A's was taken online already, so they had to use the 3A version.
That's true.
The 5, 6, and 7 A's. I think that
also taken.
Yes.
Also taken. Only the 3 A's was not taken.
Sirach, you've done your research on us. I like that.
I did.
I like that. But it's funny you say that, because we've actually had people come over to our table when we're doing conventions and seriously, in all seriousness, say to me, dude, you've got some extra A's in there, right? I'm just like, oh man, thanks. I should really check my work.
You should panic when they say that. You should go, what? That's not how you spell gay in space?
I was just too excited when I wrote it, I guess. I don't know.
So Dan, tell us about, first of all, tell us about when you started coming to the Star Trek Las Vegas convention, and then transition that into telling us where you got the idea of Gaaays in Space and how, because it really seems like you're promoting everywhere, but Star Trek Las Vegas is like the bread and butter. It's the big heart of the Star Trek conventions, and it's kind of where you do the most promotion. So we'd like to hear more about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, Star Trek Las Vegas is where Gaaays in Space was born. I had been covering Star Trek Las Vegas as a member of the press since 2012 or so, 13.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So as a lifelong Star Trek fan, I unapologetically always used my position to make sure I got to meet my heroes and interview my heroes, who are the Star Trek actors, who are the people who made this, this incredible franchise, something for the world to watch and for all of us to aspire to. So I would, at every opportunity, interview those actors, those people, to talk about that. And the biggest interviews took place in Las Vegas, because that's the highest, concentration of Star Trek actors.
In the United States, I would say, right? Because I don't know about international.
Yeah, in the world.
Is it? You think more than Destination Star Trek?
Yeah.
And
yeah,
okay.
FedCon and Destination Trek are 2nd and 3rd.
Really?
Star Trek Las Vegas is in. Think about it.
I didn't know that.
Star Trek, it's less expensive to fly them out to Vegas than it is to Europe, and they're also...
Oh, concentration of actors, the amount of actors. I was thinking fans.
Okay.
That's who I was putting up on. Okay, gotcha. I'm sorry, Dan, but I kind of cut you off there. So highest concentration, and that's where you went out to meet the Star Trek actors to interview them. Who, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. And then in 2016, well, I had actually... over those years, I had been developing an idea for a documentary about why there were no gay people in Star Trek. Because, as a gay man growing up watching Star Trek, I loved the fact that there was this equality for everyone. There was this inclusivity, regardless of where you came from, how many eyes you had, what color you were,
how big your lobes were.
how big your lobes were. Even if they were small, no one made fun. So that was a
Don't point at me, Dan.
No,
don't point at me like that.
No, not you, Charles.
I thought Jeffrey Combs was behind me. That's what I thought you were pointing at.
And so, you know, that was what appealed to me about Star Trek. That's why I, you know, spent so much time watching it and really kind of becoming a student of Roddenberry's philosophy. But there was always this kind of nagging feeling of, you know what? I'm the only group that I don't see reflected in Roddenberry.
When did you realize that? At what point through your viewing, and how old were you, where you started to recognize, hey, I'm not feeling represented, that I'm feeling that there's this inclusivity, but I'm not feeling that inclusivity, and yet you're a huge fan of the show for all the positive things it does. But at what point did you realize that and go, you know, maybe that needs to change?
That's a really interesting question. I think, I mean, that's why you do what you do, man. I think that it was probably after I came out. I mean, I didn't officially come out to the world and kind of more importantly to myself until after college. So I'd say around like 2002, 2003.
And how much Star Trek have you been watching till then? Like, meaning, I guess when I'm at it, did you see, you know, had you by then seen the original series, TNG and DS9, or were you just getting into it maybe a few years earlier?
Oh no, I've been a fan since I was a kid. Yeah, it's interesting. It happened accidentally. I had this ritual every Friday night. I would sleep at my grandmother's place, and she and I would watch The Honeymooners at 11:30 o'clock at night. Every Friday night on WPIX New York, and immediately following was Star Trek. And for some reason, and I don't know what it was, but every time the promo would come up for Star Trek, it would freak me out, and I would turn off the TV. Be like, no, I can't.
Really?
For some reason, I don't know what it was.
Whoa.
It scared me, or it weirded me out.
Which show was popping up? Was the Deep Space Nine, and that's what?
No, the original.
The original.
Sorry. I think you said that, and I just missed that because I was looking at I was thinking maybe you stood up to watch it, but your grandma fell asleep.
Oh no! She was.
It was the music. It was the music in the opening credits.
It is a little eerie.
It might have been. You know what, Sarat? That might have been it because I felt like, why are you screaming at me? Like, just let the music play. Like,
interesting.
So then there was one night when, for whatever reason, I didn't get up to turn off the television, and it just so happened to be the episode Mirror Mirror, which is arguably one of the original series' best episodes. And so we watched it, and I thought, okay, that was really good. That was interesting. What? And then the next week, it was The Trouble with Tribbles. So it was like complete serendipity that I was meant to love this show because they showed me two of the best episodes back to back.
And how old were you again? Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say something similar happened to me too when I first started watching Star Trek. I mean, I'd seen it when I was a little kid because you just kind of watch what your parents watch or whatever. I'd seen some of the original series movies and episodes. But then, you know, growing up and getting older, people would say like, oh, Star Trek's for nerds or whatever. So didn't bother watching it. Then one day I stayed home sick from school. I think I was maybe like 16 or 17. And I was just kind of like lying there and then watching TV, and Star Trek came on, you know, some syndicated Next Generation, and the remote was too far away for me to reach. So I was just like, well, I guess I'll deal with it this time. And I was watching, I was like, hang on a second. I like lasers. I like aliens. I like sci-fi stuff. I like spaceships.
Phasers. It's phasers.
This thing's great. What's my? And then the next day, I came home and I went to school and I was like, let me just test this out and see if this show's on again today. And I put it on, and sure enough, and it was good again. I was like, okay, that's it. That's a good show. I'm watching it.
Wow.
You know,
that's interesting.
It's really amazing. I wonder how many fans Star Trek has because of laziness to get up and change.
Well, we know at least one here.
Well, yeah, I have a little
two, yeah.
that's how I actually got into XFiles. I wasn't lazy. There was nothing on TV. And it was the 4th season of XFiles. And I kept blowing it off like, that looks it's on Fox. It's probably lame. I don't want to watch it. So I kept skipping it. I avoided X-Files. And then one Friday night, I was just sitting on the sofa with nothing to do, and I'm channel surfing. And that ultimately led me to really cancel subscription TV because I just kept, I just boom, 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 nothing. And then I said, well, I guess I'll watch X-Files. I don't remember what episode it was, though, I have to be honest. But I went, this is a good show. And I became a huge X-Files fan after that. And then backwards, watched everything, and I love X-Files now. But as you were saying, but it wasn't until later that you started to realize how the gay community was not, LGBTQ was not represented. Yeah, in the show. But you didn't realize it at first. So when you started to realize that, how did that affect how you felt about Star Trek?
Well, it had me understanding more of why so many fans were desperate for Captain Janeway and Seven of Nine to get together. I think their motivation was different than mine, but like I could understand
their motivation was different.
It was different. I think theirs was purely a little dirty and aesthetic. Mine was more like, hang on, wait, why not? Like, why? Where have all the gay people gone?
Right. That's a good question.
You know? And so, you know, I was kind of left to ponder that, and it never impacted how I felt about the show or how much it spoke to me or how important I thought it was, because regardless of that one oversight, it was still telling stories that no one else was. It was still showing us that, you know what, we're going to make it. Humanity is going to survive. We're not going to destroy ourselves. We're not going to kill each other. Everything's going to be okay. So even though it literally was me who wasn't there, I still loved the overall message enough that it didn't change anything for me.
Right.
You know, that's an interesting thing to say. It makes me wonder if it didn't impact you negatively to not include the community of LGBTQ. Now that it is including that, does it impact you positively, or is it still the same where you already know what Star Trek is and was, and this doesn't add or take away to it?
It actually, you know what, what's so interesting about that is before I saw a single frame of Discovery, before anyone saw a single frame of Discovery, I had said to people, because they would ask us this at, you know, Gays in Space events and you know, at tables, you know, what do you think Discovery is going to do? You know, and then of course, after it aired, people were like, but the Klingons and but this and but that.
Always a but in there, huh?
Always a but. And my answer was always consistent, which is, look, regardless of what you think of anything else that happens on this series, it has taken the first Gene Roddenberry step forward into the future that has happened since Kate Mulgrew was made the first female captain. And that, in my opinion, makes Star Trek Discovery a success, an unmitigated success, because it did what Star Trek is always supposed to do, which is it moves our society forward. It moves us towards that future of infinite diversity and infinite combinations. And again, the first time in how many years was that? 15, 20 years since something groundbreaking like that had happened on Star Trek. So yes, it absolutely, I mean, if it's possible, and it was possible. It made my appreciation for Star Trek even more when I saw that Discovery was doing that, and not only doing it, but not tiptoeing around it. I was worried. I was like, oh God, he's just going to be the guy who never gets laid, who never, you know, like, and he's just going to be a token gay. And he wasn't. I mean, like, to be in a committed, loving relationship and to have two openly gay characters, And for that to have been the relationship that most people focused on in the first season and most people wrote in about and reacted to.
It was definitely the best relationship, I think, on the show. Very, very easily. I would say.
Agreed. So so in kind of like thinking about this, I decided, you know what, like I'm fortunate enough to have access to the creative people who created Star Trek and who made all these episodes. And so in the process of my interviews, I started asking people, you know, why weren't there any gay people on Star Trek? What do you think? And I was getting some really good answers, some really good footage. And so I thought, okay, this could absolutely become a documentary. And then Star Trek Beyond came out. Sulu was gay, and my documentary was out the window. But I was like,
airlock, Dan. Out
the airlock. My bad. You're right. Good call. So at that point, I said, you know what? It's okay. It's okay that this happened. You know, like my little idea for a documentary is teeny tiny in comparison. So instead, I thought I should celebrate the fact that this finally happened. It seemed to me as though no one was really commemorating it. No one was really doing anything. It happened, it went, and I felt, you know, I've been waiting for this pretty much my whole life on a subconscious level or one level or another. I've been waiting for this. There are people who've been waiting for this for over 50 years. So I said, I'm going to throw a party and see if anybody else cares. And so I threw a party in Vegas. This was in 2016, and tons of people showed up. Nana Visitor came as our first celebrity guest, and she's absolutely adorable. She said to me, she was like, Dan, I can come, but I could probably only stay for about 20 minutes or so. And I said, oh my God, no, just having you there will mean the world to us. Thank you. And she stayed for 3.5 hours because she had such an amazing time. And the next day, what I heard from people was, when's the next one? Oh my God, I missed it. When's the next one? And, you know, so here we are now, 3 years later, and we've done over 50 individual events all across the country. And we've had so many of the Star Trek actors have shared their time with us, have shared the stage with us and talked about the fact that my community, that we were important to them and are important to them. And I don't think there's really a way to describe how important that is to us to hear that and what it means to us to hear that. So, I mean, of course, Aaron and Sirach, you guys have been to our events, and we absolutely love having you. And yeah, I guess, let me just say thank you to both of you for doing that, and for, you know, it just means so much more than you would think it does in the moment to everyone who's there. So thank you guys.
Yeah, man, our pleasure. You know,
well, thank you too for bringing attention to this, you know, really important subject that a lot of people will relate to. And, you know, going forward, Star Trek has had a lot to do with, you know, breaking ground and including people. And I think this is really a major step on that level of inclusion. So yeah, thank you, Dan, for, you know, involving Aaron and I. It's been really fun, the events that we've gone to. We felt very well welcomed and really enjoyed participating. So, you know, I wish you continued success with Gays in Space.
Thank you.
And you're going to be in Star Trek Las Vegas, correct?
Yes.
On Saturday night, I believe.
Yes.
And planning on being there. Yeah. I have to say I'm planning on being there because I still haven't gotten my schedule, even though I'm looking at Sirach as I say that. He might give me, see, he's going to give me those.
Yeah.
But right, tell us a little bit about that, because we're almost, as Ryan is telling us, we got to go. So tell us about Vegas, and that'll probably take us out. And what do you got planned for Saturday night, the date and everything?
Absolutely. So this year we're returning to the venue we had last year, Piranha Nightclub, which the difference this year, though, is that we're utilizing all 3 rooms simultaneously. So we're going to have in the front bar, we're doing a Trek trivia tournament to start things off. And that's kind of a more intimate, like mix and mingle setting. We have the back bar where we're going to be setting up some unique photo ops that we're going to be taking. And then the main dance floor, which, as you guys I'm sure remember, is the 2-level dance floor.
That where people dance? Do they dance on the dance floor?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes they dance on the dance floor. I mean, I pretty much go out on the stage and kind of gawk at the fact that there were that many people there. It was like it felt like Mardi Gras standing on that stage with, you know, the top level lined with people and the whole. It was just so amazing. We have returning the Roddenberries. Do you guys know?
Yep.
Yeah. The Roddenberries are a force of nature. They're amazing. They're coming back. We also have an artist named Aurelio Voltaire who did an album called Bitrexual. Do you guys know him?
I do not.
Oh my God. He's incredible, and you're going to absolutely love his music. He's going to be there. And Callie Wright.
Yep, I know Callie.
Who was at our event last year, who gave such a beautiful speech, such an impassioned speech as, you know, what it was like for her as a trans woman growing up and what Star Trek meant to her. I mean, she made me cry. Like, I swore I was not going to be the guy who teared up on stage, but I did. And I mean, I think like half of the room was. So she'll be back making everyone cry, I'm sure. And what else do we have happening? We also have on Wednesday night, we're doing a celebration of 501c3 celebration because Gays in Space is now an official nonprofit charity. If you look us up on the IRS website, you'll see safe place to donate your money, Gays in Space. And so we're doing an event Wednesday night where we're going to announce the new initiatives that we're going to be taking. Up until now, we've been doing these events, these parties, building the organization from, you know, the ground up. Well, now that we've gotten there, we're going to start announcing the things that we're going to be doing, the programs we're going to be enacting that are really going to be able to give back to the community in ways that we've never been able to do before. So that's Wednesday night, and we'll have a vendor's booth, you know, on the floor the whole week. We're going to have our rainbow tribble photo op for anyone who wants to come by. We also will be premiering. Now, aside from the people who come to our viewing parties, our weekly viewing parties in New York, you guys are the first ones to see this, which is,
oh my gosh,
we're going to be debuting Mirror Universe rainbow tribbles.
Wow. Does that glow in the dark?
You found the one thing that I didn't think of. Thank you, Aaron. No, it doesn't, but we're going to be alternating days between doing our rainbow tribble photo op and a Mirror Universe version of it at our table. Yes,
excellent.
We have tons of stuff going on. Please come by. Even if you don't come to the parties, come to the table, say hello, take some photos. You know, it's all about bringing people together and, you know, loving this thing called Star Trek that has given us all a reason to strive to be better.
Excellent, Dan.
Sounds
and your
awesome.
website,
Yeah,
website. Sorry, Ryan.
Yes.
I was just going to say, yeah, definitely go by the table, Gays in Space. You'll be able to see it very easily with the 3 A's at the top and 3 A's at the bottom. Dan, Deevy, we have to go. We'd love to have you back sometime, of course, sometime after Star Trek Convention Las Vegas. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Dan.
Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it.
And Godspeed to Gays in Space. And all.
No, you guys say it right, correctly, Ryan. Take us out correctly.
Can we say it together? Can we all say it together?
Yeah. Godspeed to
Gays in Space.
Rock, you gave
Really
you
go for it,
gave-
Ryan.
Yeah, no, that was my full effort. Right there.
Failed. Both of you failed, Dan. You see what I got to work with, Dan?
Dan,
All
Dan,
right.
you need 2 more A's in your first name.
Is
2
that-
more A's.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan.
I'm putting that on my new business card. Thank you, Strock.
Dan.
Thanks for joining us. Always
And
remember
3
the
E's.
7th rule with Aaron Eisenberg, Strock Lofton, and Dan Deevy of Gays in Space.
No,